Yeah.
Which brings us to
my
my recommendation of one of my favorite animes, Jujutsu Kaisen.
What was the last word in it? Kaisen?
Kaisen?
Okay.
Jujutsu Kaisen. Yeah.
So I was starting to edit before you came. I was starting to edit the podcast, the episode that we recorded, and the first thing I want to say is you did a horrible job of explaining any of it.
Yeah.
And I don't blame you because I'm trying to think of like what I want to recommend to you, and I'm like, how am I going to explain this?
Yes.
So like,
it's hard.
This
to
is
explain.
not me putting you on blast, but I'm just
totally
like,
agree.
I watched
totally
because
agree.
I watched it, and there was such a like, he did not prepare me for this show.
No.
In the
How
slightest.
could I?
I think there's a lot you could have done.
Okay.
Like I think if you had even an hour ahead of time to just go, I'm going to recommend the show.
Yeah.
What are things that Ryan has watched? How can I relate? Like,
yeah,
and we'll get into it.
I guess so. Yeah. I asked you like what anime you had seen and tried relating it to things, but it's different. And
yeah,
I also didn't. I also kept saying like, oh, I could explain this aspect of the show, but it would ruin it. And I was like, or it would spoil something. So I'm like, I can't tell him that.
Okay. Man,
I was struggling to find words. Yeah, which I'm fully aware of.
So we're gonna do something a little different this time.
Okay.
With that said, I have watched the entire show.
Love it.
I want you to now explain to me why you think I would like, really quickly.
Yeah.
Not worrying about spoilers.
Yeah.
Why you think I would like this show?
Okay, because I take it you don't.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
Okay. Honestly, I thought the main draw that I thought you would like in the show was the action.
Okay.
I thought it had really cool action set pieces. It had really cool fight scenes with abilities interacting and bouncing off of each other.
When you say that, like, what's a scene that pops in your head?
My instant scene is with wow, I'm gonna suddenly blank on everyone's names.
No, you're fine. I don't remember any of them. So.
Okay, so you got Itadori, the main guy.
Yep.
Him using Black Flash with Toto against the tree curse.
The tree, yeah.
Such a cool fight scene.
Okay.
I thought it was super cool how they're like both using their abilities against this tree creature thing. And I thought that whole sequence was awesome.
Yeah.
And I think there's like little bits of that sprinkled all over the place.
Yeah, like these cool little moments.
Yeah.
Dude. Oh my gosh. I don't know about this show, man.
You don't know?
I don't.
Really?
Okay,
hold on.
Yeah.
Did you like that action set piece at all? Did you thought that was a cool fight?
Let me try to think of an analogy.
Okay.
It was like it was like a decent piece of steak covered in really bad cupcake frosting.
What?
Because you want to enjoy the thing at the core, and there's just this thing that does not belong there that's just covering the thing constantly.
What are you talking about?
So I'll get into it.
Okay.
This show...
Yeah.
So, first thing I need to throw out there.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going to... If there are fans, they're going to rip me apart.
There are a lot of people who like this show.
I need to throw this up really quickly. So I watched it on Crunchyroll, which has, like, comments. I watched this...
Has comments?
Yeah, which is really random.
Okay.
I watched it dubbed. So not subtitles, dubbed.
Yeah.
I tried watching it subbed. They were talking super fast. I was like watching it on my phone. I'm like,
couldn't keep up. Okay.
And I was like, okay, Glenn watched it dubbed. Yeah, so we'll both have the kind of same jumping off point.
Sure.
People have said in the comments, like, the dubbed version is significantly worse.
Oh, really?
Than the sub. Like,
really?
Like day and night. So I want to throw that out and say, it could be just that I'm getting lost on, because it got to a point I almost was like, I don't know if I can finish this show.
How?
It is okay. So
how, Ryan?
So I'm going to
start getting
heated.
I'm gonna start getting heated. There's no way.
Okay. So here's what's hard about it too.
Okay.
It was not a episode 1. I hate this.
Okay.
It was episode 16 that I literally was like, man, we got to go. Some of the stuff it was like death by 1,000 cuts is what it felt like.
Wow.
So I didn't hate everything.
Okay.
And I don't No, I hate the show.
Wow.
It's not.
I can't believe you.
I borderline was sitting there. I was like, I might.
Are you messing with me?
I might actually rather watch Star Wars Visions than this show.
That is the most insane thing you have ever said to me.
We'll get into it.
That's impossible. I don't believe you. You're messing with me.
I'm not. So, okay. The first 8 episodes, solid. Like, I love the main character.
Okay.
Obviously, like, very anime trope. You have to eat the fingers. Like, wait, what? Weird concept. But like, I'm going with it. And the first thing that I noticed was a really weird skew. And this is, I'm glad we talked about Attack on Titan.
Mm-hmm.
Was it like you would have this extreme, and I don't want to say in some ways, this is more gruesome than Attack on Titan.
Oh yeah,
like way more violent.
Some gruesome
like
scenes.
And I was like, again, not expecting that.
Oh, another combat scene is in the schoolyard.
That, like the basement thing where they're in that. Schoolyard.
We're in their schoolyard.
That one's cool.
Yeah.
And there's cool fight scenes. I'm not taking a huge brush and saying I hate everything. Yeah. I think once I explain it, you'll be like, okay, I get it. I really do.
I highly
hope so.
doubt it, but please continue.
Okay. So you have this concept. Like they create the idea. It's cool. I love the blindfolded guy. Like
Gojo.
Dope. Yeah. Amazing. He's incredible.
Yeah.
They're being a little goofy, but I'm like, okay, I'm here for it. And then I think it's that they would do these 180s with these just what should be horrible and traumatic and really intense situations and would just like go super goofy slapstick right off the bat. That was the first thing I noticed.
Really?
It would be like,
what?
It'd be like his friends almost died. He rips this demon thing in half, or this curse, which holy crap. If you want to play a fun drinking game and want to die at the end of the game, you take a shot every time they say curse.
Oh, yeah.
You will. The curse energy from the curse is cursing him, and he. Oh my gosh. We'll get there. That's another thing.
The main plot. Yeah.
So I'm digging the concept.
Yeah.
They have the different classes. I'm like, I think it's kind of like, whatever. Like,
yeah.
But I'm generally enjoying the trajectory that it's creating. He's going to keep getting these fingers. He's going to become more powerful.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, this other curse, the curse in him is going to also become more powerful.
Yep.
So they have this cool back and forth. But the first thing I was noticing, I was like, that he would be at a school or save someone. It was like really traumatic, insane. And then he would just like, do that anime thing where I'm trying to think of like how to explain it. Like he says something and then he does like, his eyes get all like sad and like it's super exaggerated. Yeah. And it's just kind of like, okay, dude, like you just ripped a curse in half and now we're like freaking out about because this guy said that you're going to have to wait 10 minutes to go get sushi or something, or like food or something. It was just
sure.
I was like, this is weird. Like I can't.
Okay.
It's like super dark and super like kind of edgy, which I was liking. And then it went super silly. And I was like,
I thought that was like kind of the whole point of his character.
But it's everyone. It's not just him. Because that was the other thing. I was like, oh, maybe this is like him. He's always lighthearted. And like, I enjoyed his character, period. Like,
okay.
I didn't.
Itadori?
Yeah. I liked his like general positivity. I liked how he fought. Like,
like that's his whole thing is that
and like you brought that up in the podcast. You're like, I think you'll really like him. And I did.
Okay.
He doesn't do the whole like, I gotta win. There's a little thing with the grandpa thing that
he's
felt.
not like super emo.
Yeah, there's a little thing with the grandpa thing that I'm
still wondering what's up with the grandpa thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like he like remembers his dad but not his mom, and so there's something there.
Yeah.
But then it's also kind of confusing because it's like this thing I can let go a little bit easier because it is very much that anime thing where it's just a thing is the thing and there's no reason or explanation for it, where he can like he's like punching holes through concrete and someone's like, how are you doing that? He's like, I didn't know that wasn't normal. I was like,
well,
what? So I'm having a hard time planting my feet and figuring out what is normal. What is not?
I felt that too. I felt that with Itadori, like the first episode, he like breaks the world record for shot put or something, casually in a field, and I was like, wait, what?
And you just kind of like, I get it. Like you just kind of have to go with it. Like stuff happens.
I think it's meant to drop hints that like he's not genetically human.
Yeah,
like his grandfather is.
I think there's something
clearly
with like
knows
his
he's not
parents.
human. Yeah, like there's something going on there, and that's why he can swallow the fingers and not succumb to it. Yeah, there's something going on there, but
which is fine. Like I don't.
Why are we not addressing that he's like superhuman?
Yeah, and like they do, and like a lot of people throughout the show keep bringing it up, and he's always like, I didn't know that wasn't normal. I'm like, you did though.
Yeah,
like. What?
Yeah,
like
totally did.
He like punches and I liked like that scene where the one curse is like holding that kid hostage and he punches like, I can't believe I missed. And it's like there's stuff I really enjoyed about it. I just couldn't. I feel like they didn't give enough time. This is the first thing. Not the thing that I think ruined it for me.
Okay.
But they don't give like enough time to like let a moment breathe for a second. It's like super, super intense, goofy. Like
okay.
I feel like even with the kid who like, which I was really hoping he wouldn't die.
The emo kid?
Yeah. I love and the thing that was hard during those episodes was you have, I'm not gonna say any of the names, so you just blur. So the main character and the blindfolded guy,
Itadori and Gojo,
love their dynamic.
Yep.
I think it's before they get to the school, or like maybe they have gone to the school at this point. And then you have the human curse that's all stitched up.
Yep.
And he's also doing this thing with this other emo kid.
Yep.
And then the two of them connect.
Similar dynamic, yeah.
Love it. Love it. Such a cool dynamic, such a cool flow. And they would keep cut away to show bullshit at the high school that I had
zero
interest in. And I didn't and it wasn't that I totally didn't care about the characters, but they didn't give me enough to like buy into anyone or like really care. And it's hard to be like, we got to train for this big fight. And this emo kid is like so depressed and like on the verge of taking life.
Yeah.
And going back and forth. I'm like, how?
You just want to focus on that.
But also like, how am I supposed to jump into caring about this academic school event?
Yeah.
When the other thing that's happening outside is, you know, this kid battling for his soul without him knowing it.
Sure. I felt a little bit of that
so
too.
It's like,
that's fair.
And then
that's fair.
Let's also say this. One of the characters at the school is just a panda.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. I get it like down the road. And I thought it was kind of funny that like they keep going like, he's a panda and no one explains it for the longest time.
Yeah.
And then they explain it and it's just like, okay.
I mean, they're poking fun at themselves a little bit.
Yeah, again, I like that.
Yeah.
I like the fun.
Yeah.
But it goes so quickly back and forth. I'm like, is this like a humor? Is this like supposed to be like a funny show? Is this supposed to be like really dark?
It gives you a little bit of everything. Like I said, that's what I like.
It feels like I'm eating dessert and dinner at the same time. I want both.
Okay.
You can have both in a show.
But you need time to enjoy each course.
You need to honor the courses.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if it goes from, I just had to kill this person who was a kid that I was getting friends with.
Yeah.
And now we're going to cut to a scene with a panda.
Yeah.
Like talking about girls and crushes and stuff. I'm like, I can't do this. This is wild. This is not even the thing that like sent me over the edge.
I want to hear the thing that sent you over the edge.
So I can deal with all this. I get it. It's anime. There's a little bit of that quirkiness that I'm just having a hard time.
Sure.
I'm not used to. For the love of God, if you kept that all in and took this out, I'd be in. I'd watch the next season.
Wow. Okay. Well, so what's this one thing?
Show
is
90% explaining the system, the magic stuff, and nothing else, and it's just worthless. It's so stupid because they create this system, and I'm like, cool. Okay, this is like, because I was trying to figure out how to explain this. Let's play rock paper scissors right now. Okay. Okay. Ready? Rock paper scissors shoot. Okay, so we both got scissors.
Yeah.
But because of my ability. Yeah. And that we both pulled scissors.
Yeah.
Now I get to go 3 more times. All right. Rock paper scissors shoot. rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, I got rock.
Yeah.
So now I win. And then you go, but you activated my ability that when on your second try, if you get a rock, that's the whole show. That's the whole show. And nothing means anything. And it's the dumbest thing ever. Oh my gosh, Glenn, if you rewatch this with that, you will lose your mind. It's like like she has this ability and she can use these nails and da-da-da-da. I'm like, cool. And then she's like, oh, he's a grade blank, which means and then they explain for 5 minutes what that means, how that all works. And then you're saying like, oh, when he does the black energy or what?
Black Flash.
Yeah. I'm like, we've had nothing to indicate at any point this was a big deal. And now I'm supposed to think it's a big deal because now we're cutting to the business guy going in a random interview. Yeah, once I did Black Flash. Like
they've been building up Black Flash the whole season.
No, they haven't.
They've been like training him how to like focus cursed energy into a punch.
Cursed energy. But now we're just bringing this whole new term, this whole new concept of Black Flash.
Yeah.
And there's been no buildup. So why am I supposed to care?
They kept talking about how like his cursed energy would actually lag behind his punch. And and the whole thing of Black Flash is getting those to sync up.
Did they mention that before he does Black Flash?
Yeah. Yeah, they've been talking about it all season.
We'll erase that, but still, it's just like, okay, let's talk about the.
To be fair, I totally understand what you're saying, and I love it.
I don't get it. I was literally sitting here. I'm like, I don't understand how this is entertaining to Glenn. I get the concepts. I get the characters, which also the character, like, you were like, oh, it's kind of like Lost. I'm like, they do
I compared it to Lost?
Yeah, you were like, I remember you compared it to Lost where it's like they do flashbacks to the characters, which...
Oh, I was talking about a completely different TV show.
Okay.
That was like the intro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Totally different show, yeah.
And I was like... The flashbacks are meaningless. Like they don't unless it's the panda or that one cyborg. But it feels okay. Here's like the best way of explaining it.
Yeah,
it feels like they're trying to make a moment more impactful without planting any seeds ahead of time to tell you that
they're just giving it to you.
They're like they're going. This thing just happened.
Yeah.
Guess what? 10 years ago, this thing happened. Yeah. That's why it's such a big deal. Yeah. Isn't it crazy? And I go, no.
I think I kind of like that more.
It's just bad writing. It's just bad writing. It's not good storytelling.
Well, I feel like they're just giving you the relevant information when you need it, rather than doing a bunch of exposition and lore dumping in the beginning.
But you don't have to do a bunch of exposition dumping. Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
You don't need to just do these massive dumps. You can say
but it does.
Like I understand why this is a big deal to Aaron and his friends for the thing happening, not because right before that thing happens, 10 seconds you have to explain a thing to me. Like there's no investment. I don't care. I don't care if any of these characters die. I don't care what happens because there's no attachment. There's no growth. There's no investment. It's just meaningless systems and explaining things that don't matter.
It's so false.
How?
What do you mean?
Like, I just don't understand how that's entertaining to watch where it's just they're having this fight and then we're going back and forth about why the fight is cool and big. It felt so much like 6-year-old boys fighting in the backyard going, oh, I'm actually resistant to electricity. I cast fire. Well, and then I turn into water now, and I'm resistant to water. And you're like, well, not my fire. My fire. It's just like it just felt like
you just keep one-upping each other with your imagination.
And it's like, and I get the inner monologue. That's fine. Like I know that's just part of like anime, but oh my gosh, it's if it was once in a while, or even just once every fight scene, I wouldn't have an issue. I'd be like, okay. That's just part of it. It's non-stop through the whole show with everything.
Yeah.
It didn't
bother me, I guess.
I would like roll my eye.
I just liked it. The first thing I thought when you said that it's like, oh, my ability does this thing and it triggers this thing and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that's Magic the Gathering. We literally play a card game based around that.
Yeah. One, I'm playing the game. I'm not watching someone play.
Okay, fair enough.
Two, we all know what the concrete rules are.
Sure. There's concrete rules.
No, there's not.
What do you mean?
No, we're just making stuff up. Every time a new character comes in, it's a new way that they're like it's all these new abilities, and I get that that's like Magic, but we're not talking. There's such different mediums. You're talking about a game where you have to be adaptive.
Yeah,
you know, like Way of Kings, like they had such a concrete core idea,
way more
and then
concrete.
everything is built off of it. This is. The writers can say and do whatever they want.
It's cursed energy, and you can use it however you like.
That's what I'm saying. That's why you're like, oh, but it is a huge plot point. I'm like, no, curse is the word we use when we want something to happen that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, sure.
I guess that's true. Like, if they tightened that up, if anything meant anything in that show, I would be like, oh, this would be cool. And it's just not. It's just, and it also, I was watching all the fight scenes, and the other thing was, I was like, okay, episode 16 is the first time that there's a fight scene where both characters are somewhat balanced.
Which fight?
I can't remember at this point.
Oh, okay.
I just remember going, like, I was like, thinking about all the fight scenes. I'm like, every fight scene is one person who is significantly more powerful, and the other one going, I can't seem to hit him. Wow, he's really powerful. And it's not until episode 16 that there's a legitimate 1v1 fight where both people are powerful.
I feel like I need to know the fight, but I'm trying to think of the first fight I can think of where it's a good matchup. I feel like the first fight I can think of that's a good matchup is the business guy versus the human.
I think that might be the
human curse.
I think it's like that's episode
where they're like fighting in the sewers.
Yeah, I think it's like episode 16. I think that's the one I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Halfway
I mean, like
Gojo,
Gojo, it's just
I know, but there's lots of other fight scenes though.
Yeah.
The school one, no, because it's the one curse is way more way more bigger, and then he turns into the thing, and it's just always this.
Sure.
Until episode 16, where there's finally a fight,
finally a fair fight,
where it's like, ooh, I'm invested now. Because there's now a fight for something.
Well, doesn't that make the main character, like, doesn't that follow the main character's journey where he feels like so helpless and outside of this world that he's weak and lacks understanding, and his arc through the show is gaining power and understanding, and now he can fight a fair fight.
But it's not always him fighting though.
That's true.
And the thing is, when he fights, it's like, for the first couple episodes, it's he can't do anything. He's just kind of throwing punches, or he is like putting up a fight. But at the end of the day, this thing's more powerful. And then he lets out the curse, and then the curse just like obliterates them.
Sometimes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That doesn't happen for the whole show.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, for a show that's 24 episodes, you have to wait till episode 16 to get to a point where there's a legitimate
fair fight,
and that just feels like
too long.
I don't know, for a show that's supposed to be mostly about fights, like why and I think it's like, I don't mind the power imbalance. It's cool to watch the blindfold guy just kick ass.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
It's the best part of the show.
But it's like that for 16 episodes, I'm just not invested in any, and then it's like, and even that when they're explaining the systems in those, I almost don't mind it as much, because he's so powerful that you're like getting into his insight.
Yeah.
And every time, I felt like at that point, every time he's giving you insight, it was kind of explaining a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then you kind of get a general idea of how this works.
Yeah.
And then it just
like domain expansion and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that was cool.
I thought it was really cool.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Like the general concept.
I like the concept of it. Yeah.
And then it's, again, I like the concept. I, for the most part, enjoy the characters. I think there's some fun camaraderie. I wish there was more, but it's fine. Okay. I just like it. It was the highway scene where they're fighting on the, like, that's towards the end too, where they're fighting.
Yeah, loved it.
That was just like such a bore, and then
a bore.
It's just so, because it's just so, it's so much conversation about why I'm more powerful than you, and oh wait, hold on, I didn't understand that your power had this ability.
Yeah,
or the
yeah.
clap thing.
Loved the clap thing.
Okay,
Love the clap
He goes,
thing.
I actually have
Toto.
this. He goes, I have this ability.
Yeah.
I can clap and switch places with someone.
Yep.
And then a little bit of the fight happens. He goes, actually, I can switch places with you as well.
Yeah.
Actually, I can switch places with an inanimate object. And it's just like, and then every time he says that, it's not, then we get back to the fight. It's then the thing has to go, I can't believe that he did. And it's just like, it's just that over and over.
Just so
and
much
over
monologuing
and over and over.
in her thoughts.
Monologuing about nothing. Just like let the fight happen. And you can obviously have
And
monologue in it.
Show, don't tell.
Yes. Yes. And you're acting like I'm an insane person for wanting that.
I am understanding everything you're saying. All of your complaints are valid. I think the problem is they just don't bug me. I think that's the difference. I don't know. Like none of this stuff was a problem.
So like when you're
me.
watching it and they're explaining this, you're just going, this is really cool.
Yes. Yeah. Like, oh, that's a cool concept. I love how they twisted that. Yeah. It's exactly what's happening. Yeah.
I don't even know what to. Yeah.
I guess we're at an impasse.
That's I'm like,
can you give me like one what was one thing that you did like?
I
like
thought
thing.
the design for the curses were cool. I wish they did a little bit more variety, but then later they bring in the variety of like, I like the idea of these curses being these like emotions that we feel that manifest into these things. And if there's enough around a certain thing, it starts to become like, you know, the fear of humans or the fear of volcanoes. Like that was cool. I like the kind of quest to eat all these fingers. I thought that was a cool concept. I love there was like that one moment where they make this like deal, the main character and his curse.
Yeah,
but
he makes like a pact with the
I don't
curse.
remember if I missed it, but like I don't feel like that pact really played out at any point after that.
Oh yeah.
There's like a little interaction, and then he brings up at one point that the main character doesn't remember it.
Yeah.
But he doesn't ever. He has to say like extension or something, and then he can like. They'll switch places no matter what or something.
Yeah,
and like
so
that never played out.
The main character is unaware of the pact because that was part of the pact.
Which is like cool, fair.
And it starts to come into play when they're fighting the human curse at the school. Because the human curse is trying to get the curse out of him. Like he's trying to get the curse to take over. But the curse doesn't want to because of the pact.
No, he doesn't want to because, like, the curse is using the soul of is warping the shape of the soul.
Yes. Yeah.
And he's like, you can't warp me.
That happens later. Yeah. When he tries to touch Itadori and warp his soul.
And then they have a conversation, and I know the main character doesn't remember that.
Yeah.
But like that doesn't really play out in any other.
Yeah,
like,
he doesn't cash in on the pact.
And
yet.
I know it's a show, so it can come back later.
Yeah, it'll probably.
But I was
come
like,
up.
oh, that's cool. And then I was like.
Wish they played with it a bit more.
So is that coming in?
Okay.
And I think it was just like at a certain point, I was like, it's just like I don't know. I was just like, there's these cool concepts that they could have taken places. I think that's the part that makes me frustrated too. I was like, this is cool. This is a cool concept. It's fun. You have these wacky characters.
Yeah.
I loved the character. It was annoying what the character who like with the voice or like, the tongue. I was like annoyed that he like would just say these words. He like could pull down his like hood and then say something, and everyone.
Oh
around.
Yeah.
He was dope, but it was also just like, again, cutting down that he would only say like food.
Yeah.
He's like salmon, and then everyone knew what he was saying. I was like, again, it's like okay, that's fine, that's funny, that's kind of like, and and they point at it. They're like, how do you know what he's saying? And they're like, we don't have time to explain it. Like,
it's making fun of itself a little bit. Yeah,
and I'm like,
and anime in general.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, that's funny. I just like. Again, it was like it would be in these kind of weird moments or whatever. It's like I get that there's just these weird points that I like probably am just not understanding like the general vibe of the anime. Like it's not I'm not catching on. But that wasn't the thing that like sent.
Yeah.
It was just the like this show would be so much better. And I think that's the thing too, is if you took out the systems like them explaining the systems, if you took out 75% of it,
Yeah.
I don't think you would really be that lost. Like that's the part with me is like, when they explain the systems and I could almost go, oh, they're doing this.
Yeah.
Because you explained it.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're explaining the system of a thing that I'm like, I don't think you really need to
Explain that.
I don't think you really need to explain this. And there's and I can remember points where I'm like, oh, they said this, like how he's like, oh, the three brothers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I was like, man, that is a really, we're just gonna gloss over that intense rape that happened. Like we're just gonna go. I was like, all right, like, and that's the thing. I'm like, we're talking about this, and then we're goofing around with the panda and the guy that says tuna. I'm like, what is happening? I can't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
No.
it's just like,
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
It's one thing if they're really intense fight scenes and they're gory, but they also get into subject matter that's just
dark.
That's like really, really dark, and then play off on something else. I'm just like, bro, like, okay. Again, and that's like with Attack on Titans. Like, it's super depressing and sad, but they're at this pinnacle point, and they would just be insane if they're like, "Hey, you guys want to play baseball?" Which happens in the show. Side note, not in Attack on Titan.
No.
You know, it's like,
Jujutsu Kaisen,
you know how there's this huge thing happening. Let's play some baseball. And I'm just like,
I don't know. Okay. That makes it so much more digestible, and like,
I think that's the thing. It's like, I don't need you to like give me a break.
Yeah.
Do you know what I can do? I can just take a break from the show.
See,
I can just say, hey, that was a heavy episode. I'm not going to watch the next one. I'll watch it next week.
See, I want the break. Yeah, I want to binge it, and I want a break. I think that's where I'm struggling with Attack on Titan.
That's like a really good point. Is like, there's a ton of podcasts I like.
Yeah.
I can't listen to that single podcast all the time because it's one singular note, right? Like, My Brother and Me is like always very funny, always really, really entertaining. And you get into it like I would listen to a lot of it, but sometimes I want to listen to something productive.
Yeah. I'll listen to like 8 hours of My Brother and Me straight. Yeah, no problem.
Which I like get, but then it's just you're ignoring your ability for self-agency to say, if I don't want to listen to something funny, I could also go listen to something else.
But like to use Attack on Titan, for example, I want to keep watching the show, but it's making it so I can't. Like it's forcing me to take a break because it's too much.
I think
I kind of wish it would break up the moments.
I think Attack on Titan is doing exactly what it's set out to do.
Yeah.
And it's being really potent. And it's going, even if you, let's bring the steak analogy, even if you have the best steak, you can't eat that every single day nonstop.
Yeah.
You got to go, this is really rich. I need to take a second.
Okay.
I need some vegetables. And to me, that's like, I rather have content like that.
Yeah.
Than this thing, and I think we're like hitting it. This like feels very. I'm glad we're talking through this.
Yeah.
Because it feels like with Jujutsu, it's like, it has to be funny and it has to be dark and it has to go deep into philosophical stuff. And you also we can't expect our watcher, the people watching, to be confused for 1 second about anything, and we need to explain everything, but also we need it's just like it's trying to be everything.
Man, the more I think about it, the more it's like a polar opposite to Attack on Titan.
Yeah, the fact that you brought it up at all, I was like, I don't see a single.
Yeah, it was a bad comparison.
Well, it's the only anime that I really like.
Yeah,
so it's like I don't blame you.
It was the only stepping point I had, but
so I think that's like I think that's something for me is if it was goofy
all the time.
Not even all the time, but like if they just played more into the goofy, they couldn't figure out where they wanted to land. And I think that was the thing that I'm like,
okay.
Because I think I pick up shows or podcasts or movies being like, this movie is going to make me feel really unsettled.
Yeah.
I know that. I'm going into it. I'm excited to see what it does.
Yeah.
I need something that's going to make me feel way better and just make me feel comfortable, and I don't have to think.
Yeah.
I want to grab that. I'm not looking for a thing that can do all of it because it won't do any of that well, like Notion.
Okay. I
love Notion.
I feel like I much prefer like an appetizer sampler platter where I'm getting a little taste of everything.
I'm down for that. You just gotta give room. You got to give me some room because again, I wasn't super jarred by the. Now it's funny. Now it's dark. It was just
how quick it was.
Speed of it was so
Okay,
fast. I was like,
okay.
whoa, okay, that
Yeah,
kid, that dude
I mean,
just died.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we're just coming up against like just two different ways to
Styles,
consume content. Yeah.
So,
Dang, man. Okay.
and I think that's the thing where I was like, okay, Visions.
Yeah.
Every episode was its own thing
its
with
own
its
thing.
own style, and it tried to do something. It did it
Very
poorly,
specific.
in my opinion.
Okay.
But
It didn't.
there
jump
was a
around.
stylistic choice made.
Yeah.
And I think that's the and I don't know if this is something that that I will feel with other animes because I'm just because part of me is going like maybe I just don't like anime. Like if this is because I think there's a little bit of that in like in other stuff.
To be honest, I feel like your like mainstay anime is Attack on Titan, right?
Yeah.
And Attack on Titan is nothing like any other anime.
Yeah.
Like it is so off in its own zone.
Yeah, which is like
That
again
like
why
maybe you just like Attack on Titan.
yeah, maybe it's not that I like anime. I just
Yeah.
I did like Demon Slayer or Demon Hunter.
Demon Slayer?
Demon Slayer. I watched like a couple episodes of that. I'm like, I gotta keep watching this. This is really good.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
And like,
a lot of people have been hating on Demon Slayer.
I'm like 4 episodes in, so I don't
Okay.
know. But
yeah. I mean
there was something else that I watched that was kind of that like back and forth. I can't remember what.
I
it
like
was.
Demon Slayer more than Jujutsu Kaisen, I think.
Okay. Well, like Cowboy Bebop too. They have a little bit of like.
Cowboy Bebop's great, man.
They have like goofy and then they have dark.
Yeah.
And it
yeah.
doesn't feel jarring at all.
That's true.
Because it's good
That's
writing.
true.
It's just it's good writing. And that's the thing is like the pacing of Jujutsu just doesn't make any sense.
Man,
all these things are like where I'm
just
like,
love it.
You can have all the ingredients in here. You just gotta blend it a little bit. You just gotta like and I don't want to be tooting my own horn, but like I'm just extra sensitive to that.
Yeah, which is fair. Yeah, I think so.
Out of what is it, 32 teeth?
Oh my god, 32
out of 32 teeth.
Yeah, what are you giving it?
I'm gonna say like 4 molars.
Wow.
Like
that's it.
made for babies. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I said, I think Vision might. if I had to pick between watching Star Wars Vision all over again
and Jujutsu
or
Kaisen,
Jujutsu, I do.
You would really choose
would.
Visions.
Yeah.
I liked Visions, but I like Jujutsu Kaisen way more than Visions.
No.
Did you hear season 2 of Visions just hit?
I brought it up to you.
Oh, you did?
I was like
Okay.
debating
On May
watching
4th.
it, but I was like, maybe it'll be really good, and Glenn we can have a little redemption episode.
Yeah, maybe. I still gotta watch it. I haven't watched it.
I won't watch until you do, and then you can decide whether you want.
Okay. Okay.
Some of the frames looked really cool. So
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
just
maybe
into it.
maybe they up their story. Maybe they heard this podcast and they up their storytelling
They're
a
like,
bit.
that Glenn and Ryan, they got a couple good points we should check out. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
So,
Well, this has been interesting.
I know. I didn't think I was going to feel this strongly about it. But I think I'm also coming to this point, like we said, where it's like maybe I don't like anime, which makes me want to watch more anime.